Welcome to the Ideal Investor Show. Join us on the journey to financial success. Let's go. Hey everybody. I hope you're all very well. Welcome back to another episode. Today I want to reiterate something. I've made episodes about this before, but sometimes there is actually an opportunity where something happens or you're being reminded. And I don't know how many of you have actually seen or have become aware that last week, and I'm recording this basically for the second week of October. So first week of October 2024, what had happened is that people who wanted to get in their Bank of America bank accounts suddenly saw that either they couldn't get in at all when they were using their cell phone or their laptop or anything like that, or some, if they actually did get in, the balance in their checking accounts or savings accounts or their overall account summary balance showed zero. And the vast majority of people knew, hold on, what's going on here? I definitely know that I had money in here. How can it be zero? So they all started frantically trying to find out what's going on. Now, why do I bring this up? There is a fundamental thing that you kind of need to understand, and we typically don't really think about it much. We don't talk about it much, or if we talk about it, we talk about it in terms that are not really accurate, right? Like, how many times have you heard that somebody said, I'm putting my paycheck into my bank account, just as an example? Or have you already deposited your paycheck? Or how is it going with your money in your bank account? Or how much money do you have in your bank account? And all these kinds of statements. We typically don't really think much about it because everybody is using this kind of terminology. But what the real matter of fact is, and I can encourage you can either ask the bank that you're always typically going to bank with, or you can look at the original documents that you signed when you opened the bank account. You will see that in the fine print, when you open the bank account, it actually says you are, for any of the deposits that you're making in the account with the number that was assigned to you, are basically giving a loan to the bank. And they're treating your money as if you have given them a loan. Now, depending on what kind of an account it is, they will say something like, this is a checking account with a 0.5% interest rate. Or they might say, this is a savings account where the interest rate is adjusted in accordance to the prime rate and is always going to be 1/4 or 25% of the current prime rate, which then means you can see what the actual interest rate is either on the online page or you can see it posted in the branch office. What does that actually mean? That means you loaned the bank money when you made the deposit. The bank makes a commitment that they are honoring the loan, they are honoring the interest rate, and that they are also willing to give you money back from the loan that you gave them, but within the limits of operations. What does that mean? Well, within the limits of operation means, for example, let's make a little example and assume you have $25,000 in your checking or savings account. And something comes up, I don't know, let's say you want to buy something expensive and you need $10,000 cash because you agreed to buy it in cash. If you go to the bank and say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Banker, from my bank account number, here is the number. I have $25,000 in balance and I would like to get $10,000 in cash. The bank can say, oh, that's too bad. We don't have enough cash in our vault right now. If we were to give you $10,000, then anybody else who wants any money, we can't give them anything. So the maximum we can give you is $2,000. And you might think, hold it, what the hell? This is my money. How can you tell me that I can't get to my money? And that's why I wanted to remind you, it is not your money. As soon as you made the deposit, that money became a loan to the bank. Now, under normal circumstances, and depending on how big your branch office is, you might be able to get $10,000 in cash. But if you wanted, for example, to take the whole $25,000, because you might not like the bank anymore and you want to open an account in a different bank, very unlikely that you get that unless you tell them a few days in advance, hey, I'm going to come and actually going to collect my money. Can you make it ready? Even worse would be a case, and there have been some cases, if you paid attention in the last few years, where banks actually went under, meaning like the bank went bankrupt. Now, we all know and always hear that our bank deposits are insured up to $250,000. And that is correct. The government insures regular bank accounts to that limit. But what does that mean? It does not mean if the bank has trouble, is not doing their business well, and is basically declaring bankruptcy for some reason or another, that you can just walk in and say, okay, well, I know I'm insured, I want my money. You, like everybody else who has any kind of claims against the bank, are being added to a list, and then a bankruptcy person is being put in place whose task it is to make sure that everybody who is entitled to get money, insured or not, is going to get paid. If only after it has been determined that there isn't enough money, or that the bank has been taken over by another bank or another institution, is it for you to get your money? And like I said, if there is not enough money left, that has to be first determined before then the government can step in and say, okay, well, since there's not enough money in the bank left, we step in with taxpayer money and pay everybody their balance, so you would get your $25,000 out of that. So this whole episode is not to scare you in any way or make you aware of something weird or so forth. I just want you to understand why I have always said you don't want to have a whole lot of cash in the bank, because all those people that woke up and went into their Bank of America online account and saw the balance is zero, they obviously, rightfully, for a moment anticipated or assumed, holy moly, what happened? My money is gone. And even though ultimately it turned out it was just a software glitch, or maybe a cyber attack or something like that, but it is a really, really, really good and important reminder that this money that is showing when you go in your online bank is not really your money. It's the loan balance that the bank is showing you for the loan that you gave them. So please be aware of that, and that's the way it's supposed to be treated and looked at. And when you do that, you will also ask yourself more frequently, how much should I really have in the bank at all? And how should I keep the rest of my money in other ways so you really have control? That is also part of the explanation why I always say you want to have gold and silver coins, because when you hold those, you have them somewhere in your safe at home. Then you can go to the bank and say, hey, regardless, there's always going to be some bank where you can go if you ever need money and say, I want to exchange some of my silver or gold coins into cash on an as-needed basis. We all make the assumption that we will always have the opportunity to go to the bank and get the money. But if something happens, the software breaks down, the bank goes bankrupt, or all those kind of things, there might be circumstances where you have tons and tons of money in the bank. You just can't get to it. And again, last time, it's not your money while it's in the bank. It's only your money when it's your custody. When you have it in your hands or in the form of gold coins or silver coins or notes and stuff like that. In the bank, it's not yours. In your hands, it's yours. So that's important to know. I hope that was a valuable reminder for you. And this is just one little thing of the many, 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 many things that we talk about here on the show, but also when we're in our mentoring program. And if you want to see if this is something that is for you and that I can help you with your money, with your investing, or how to position yourself, then please go to idealinvestorshow.com and find the button to book a call, and let's have a conversation. So that's it for today. Be well and stay safe, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.